Anyway, into the game. So this is what I was talking about with Cold Snap. This top section here is a lot more defensible, so you could see top and middle, and then top goes for air and middle goes for like light vehicles or spiders or something. Bottom typically is more vehicle focused. And no, this is not water, it's ice. I mean, it's water, but it's frozen. There is water directly under it though. If you start breaking that, you will get water. So you could terraform the entire thing and get water. However, yeah, the south, usually you see light vehicles. Middle is like some kind of bots. Top is almost always bots. Sometimes air. That's typically how this thing goes, so it really will come down to where people choose to start. Once again, I expect GBC to start in a very nearby position, just to have that air set up, while 400 cortezthekiller, not sure where they're going to go. They're still trying to work that out. And Anarchid already forward with the Cloaky bot factory. I expect hokomoko to be right next to them with jump. Okay, there we go. They're not jump bots, that's Gunships. And we should be seeing a warrior drop. This is what a warrior drop looks like. Pre-game, Cloaky plus Gunship. That is a warrior drop. So this is going to be quite risky. If Anarchid and hokomoko make this work, we should see Anarchid and hokomoko versus Google Frog. Well, actually, I don't know if Google Frog and Affiliates are going to make it this time. It really depends on a lot of things. I mean, it depends on whether or not they win their match. And honestly, if neither player wins, then that's just not the matchup we'll see. So, moving on, we have... No, this is not quite what I expected. Not at all. I mean, 400 going for warriors, cortezthekiller going for Cloaky bots on the south side, but it looks like we aren't seeing warrior drops. We are seeing a Blastwing rush. Blastwings into Rapier, apparently. But no, this is actually going to be a relatively straightforward game. GBC not going for a warrior drop cheese as I expected, which is unexpected. I mean, what else can I say? There's a warrior rush coming in from 400. I mean, that's actually weird, honestly. I really would have expected that from hokomoko and Anarchid, but it looks like no, we are instead just going to see some straightforward play. Well, from them. Warrior rush coming in from 400 though, so that's actually probably going to be spotted. This glaive here will spot the warriors, and then after that we'll just see Rockos being built up, and probably more rapiers being built up, and the warriors will have a hard time dealing with that. However, right off the bat though, that Blastwing attack coming in, on top of that, Anarchid's glaives around the back, that won't be able to get rid of the factory. That's nowhere near enough. It is, however, stopping production. And actually, depending on what... No, never mind. Cortezthekiller having a hard time dealing with this. Their commander coming in here, no weapon upgrades. Their factory is almost dead. Their factory's going to go down right in the first couple minutes of the game. That factory going down for Cortezthekiller. Very, very difficult move there. I mean, that hurts a lot. 400's Warrior Rush still going strong. I mean, it's warriors against an unprepared opponent. Well, now they're prepared. We should be seeing Rockos any minute now. Actually, no, Anarchid just getting warriors of their own. But yeah, with Cortezthekiller having lost their factory, that is a major blow for the East team. At this point, having an economic advantage thanks to the reclaim, but even without the reclaim, their economy is still quite strong. It's just that, of course, they don't have a second factory. And 400 does not have any workers to set up their factory here, so that's the thing. Bit of a weird double factory setup, though. This actually might be a blessing in disguise. I mean, if Cortezthekiller goes for a factory that better synergizes with Cloaky, not just a second Cloaky bot factory, that could end up with a good situation for the Eastern team. They still have an economic advantage. So with a strong economic advantage, pushing forward with a good synergy on the factories, that could still work nicely. The only one I could really think of offhand is obviously Gunships, because then you could just do the same thing as the GBC right now. Another one, I suppose, like I said, south side, you often see light vehicles. But the thing is that Cloaky and light vehicles both kind of occupy that same niche of being light, fast factories. Like weak units, fast units, decent amount of damage, but not a whole lot of HP. And that Warrior Rush did not go anywhere. Not unexpected. I mean, it was spotted. Kind of sucks for 400 though, that's the one thing. They really wanted to have that there, they really wanted to make sure that everything was just gonna work out, but top corner, it's rather difficult to go from top corner Warrior Rush. And Cortezthekiller going for, not Black Duchy, what am I saying? Cortezthekiller going for another Cloaky bot factory. This is not likely to work all that well. I suggested light vehicles mainly because this part of the map is typically where light vehicles become very powerful. It's flat, so it's flat, it's wide. The speed becomes a bigger deal than the ability to deal with terrain. But no, we are indeed seeing more Cloaky bots, and we'll probably just see a bunch of glaives and so forth. Hokomoko setting up an amphib factory, which makes a lot of sense because Hokomoko is Hokomoko, and Hokomoko loves their amphib factory. At the same time, looks like, yeah, 400's commander already down. Really, East team is just having a hard time keeping up. Their economy is still working out, despite the fact that they have one fewer commander, but as I mentioned last game, the problem with losing your commander is not that you end up losing the economy of the commander. That hurts. The real problem is that you end up losing an easy way of constructing the front line and building up the economy and holding back some forces. That's what you lose. That's really what you lose. It's an opportunity cost more than anything. And it looks like Warrior Glaive coming in from Cortezthekiller. They really want to make sure that there's something here. I mean, they want to probably push in with the Warriors and Glaives. Going for the center, though. Not going for the southwest. Really? See, I would expect the southwest, because that would mean you could just go through, and already we have Anarchid coming in through the center, taking out a bunch of 400 metal extractors, and GBC just getting a more and more solid economic advantage, while Warrior coming in here from Anarchid once again, just breaking through the lines. I mean, that Razor isn't really a big threat, but still, just get rid of it. Why not? Allows the Rapiers to move a bit more freely, which is nice. Not a big deal, but it's nice. Hokomoko blocking out the center of the map, so this center passage here basically impossible to get through without breaking down a bunch of solar plants. So no trivial travel through the center section of the map, unless of course you are on GBC team. Now, as it stands, Anarchid, they did a lot of damage here. I mean, between all these glaives, the amount of economic damage that's been dealt here, it's basically pulled the Eastern team from like mid-30s economy to low 20s, high teens, which against GBC's 55 metal per second, that's untenable. Air Factory is here for 400, but that's not going to help enough, I don't think. The only thing they could really do from here, I suppose, would be, I mean, the north side is basically captured. Anarchid is trying to defend the north side, very strongly attacking 400. The south side is a bit less well defended. I mean, we do have the ducks. Some good positioning from Cortez. I keep saying Black Duchy. Why do I keep saying Black Duchy? Good positioning from Cortezthekiller could deal with these ducks efficiently. And if that's dealt with efficiently, then you're fine. The problem, of course, is that if it's not dealt efficiently, those ducks are going to completely wipe the floor with everything that's here on the southeast side of the map. And nice gremlins coming in. Although the Rapiers still did their job, still saw the army composition and positioning of Cortezthekiller. Cortezthekiller none the wiser of how many ducks are here. I mean, they have a radar. Oh no, they have radar. That's all they have. Granted, that's still enough to find the numbers. Not enough to find proper positioning, but enough to find numbers. So there is that. But at this point, East team is so locked into their base. I mean, Cortezthekiller are doing a nice job rebuilding, though. They are going to want to set up some static defenses on this side of the map, because that killed them last time. The lack of static defenses, the lack of any real defenses. And while Eastern team is rebuilding rather nicely, it is still a 1-2 metal. It's a 2-1 metal advantage for the GBC. The Ducks coming in here, quite a few going down to Warriors, but there's so many of them that it's... I mean, wow, actually, never mind. There are enough Ducks they should be able to power through, but still, that was a good last stand from Cortezthekiller. It wasn't ideal, but it was still a really good last stand. It didn't work out, but it got rid of a lot of the Ducks. It is actually slowing down Hokomoko. Hokomoko not really that eager to attack right now. Pretty much entirely because they lost so many Ducks to those Warriors and Glaives. And more Warriors coming in. Not a whole lot right now. This would actually be a really good timing. If Hokomoko attacked now, they'd pretty much win. there's the one warrior, and ducks are efficient enough against single warriors that it would basically be dead just in a heartbeat. But that's not happening. However, the thing is, the GBC at this point has such an advantage. They don't really need to worry about being fast. They can just attack. And what the? I don't see any spiders. What was that lightning? Who's gone for Zeus? That's the only thing I could think of. Oh, wait a sec. No, it's not. What am I saying? That was a commander. That was... I don't know whose commander. Seriously, I don't know whose commander was that. Okay, I don't know. That was weird. Oh, no. What am I saying? That was a tick. Sorry, I missed that was a tick over, apparently, to the north. Anyway. To the actual action that matters. Ducks and boys coming in here. Okay, Hokomoko is setting up for the final push. A lot of warriors here for Cortez the Killer to hold off. And the north side... proxy chainsaw to get rid of these ravens as best as possible. Which will help. And don't get me wrong. But... getting that... actually, no, never mind. Doesn't help at all. Nice 400 attacking here. Nice attack here for 400 to get rid of the chainsaw. Not, unfortunately, able to get rid of everything else. And the chainsaw continues to be threatening. Continues to be built gradually. The problem, of course, is that at this point 400 is trying to rebuild, or trying to refuel and repair these ravens one at a time. And once again, another attack in from Anarchid. This is what I mean. You need static defenses here to deal with all this stuff, because Anarchid's going to keep doing that. Anytime that's open, yeah, you get rebuilt, but Anarchid keeps wrecking it, and the GBC hasn't lost their economy. They pretty much have been gaining economy this entire time, with almost no exceptions. And the chainsaw, 15 seconds away from being up. I don't think these ravens are going to go for the attack. Man, if they got rid of the commanders, they could easily get rid of the commanders too. Oh, never mind. But for the hacksaw. But for the hacksaw. And Anarchid's glaives pretty much flanking here. I'm not sure. Is Cortez the Killer just going to go for an attack on the line of boys here? Yeah, they are. Or at least their warriors are attacking. If they're not going for it, they're allowing their warriors to move way out of bounds, like way out of position. Yeah, that looks like a unit AI thing. It looks like just the warriors are trying to fight back after being hit, and that is not the way to go. Because, of course, that just leaves them open. And once again, the Cloaky bot factory for Cortez the Killer going down. This is pretty much game. Hokomoko moving in after peeling back the warriors, because once those have been peeled away, the ducks can just move in. And this is a nice little death ball along the south side. And Cortez the Killer fighting back, getting rid of quite a few ducks with the warriors, but the boys just not being cooperative. Glaives up to get rid of the boys, which, I mean, really there needs to be a lot of glaives. Boys are remarkably difficult to deal with. I mean, really, I'd say the best way to deal with them is using skirmishers, but when you have these numbers and the economic disadvantage, it's not going to work out at all. And the proxy chainsaw, of course, having been built, not a whole lot that can be done about that trivially. 400 is trying, definitely trying to push up. They're trying to get rid of as much as they can, but it's just so many lotuses along the way, and dealing with that hill, trying to take that hill. Especially when you consider that the pathfinding for warriors and glaives and all that stuff, like that pathfinding is not great for trying to take the hill in the first place. There's almost no way. Not without a tactical nuke silo. Or tactical missile silo, rather. That's about the only way I could think of offhand. Some kind of artillery. Direct units, like just direct combat foot soldiers, that's not going to do the trick at all. And at this point, Cortez the Killer basically out of the game. Actually, entirely out of the game. No constructors. Pretty much nothing having been built. It's a 2v1 situation here. And 400 going for sides, going for the absolute desperate play of scything out the chainsaw, scything out the hacksaw, just getting rid of all this, possibly the commanders. Scything out as much as they can of the proxy force. I mean, Anarchid and Hokomoko being very forward with their commanders. And Anarchid, in particular, quite a lot of firepower here. The sides should be able to deal some damage. Hokomoko's commander is the one really under threat. I mean, it has 600 health. Anarchid's commander with 1,600 health. And Dante in here, exposing the size and able to finish off the match. This is going to be it. So that, wow, that was the match. That was pretty much powerful start to finish from GBC. I can't really think of a time that East team had anything even approaching an advantage. You can check the stats, but I think metal income, yeah, East team had a slight economic advantage at the start. That was about it. But metal used, wow, I mean, GBC way ahead of that. Metal excess remarkably low for, well, in general. I mean, East team had a bit of a higher one, but still, yeah, this is just metal used graph. That's the real story right there. And unit value even more so the real story. Here we go. I mean, Anarchid and Hokomoko just continue to increase their army size, while 400 and cortezthekiller, they were struggling to maintain their army, let alone grow it. So that is pretty much that match. At this point, I think it's just going to be... Well, how'd this go? Google Frog and Orphelia is losing again, so it's going to be 400 cortezthekiller versus Black Touch and Sigero. I believe that's the top match. Oh no, that's the bottom match. What am I saying? Oh, it's the middle match. Anarchid and Hokomoko versus Google Frog and Orphelius. Still going on. I guess it would be a round robin at this point. There's 3 rounds and 4 teams. So yeah, that's the next match we're going to be watching is those 3. Or those 2, because 4. Yes. There are 4 players. So, what map is that one going to be? I think it's... it's Tartarus. Really? Okay, this is going to be weird. This is going to be really weird. Tartarus for... I don't even understand. For a 2v2 tournament, Tartarus is a very small map. So I really don't understand the logic of that. Anyway. Well, we've seen a lot of... Did we... I'm trying to think. Did I... I've only done Anarchid and Hokomoko games. But I really wanted to see this setup. I mean, I have watched everybody play. I've watched everybody play against Anarchid and Hokomoko, but I have watched everybody play. So, there is that at least. So yeah, we are on Tartarus. Of all maps, I mean, this is going to be very cheesy. It's not a terrible map for 2v2. It is a little small for 2v2. It's 8x8, but it should work okay. The only downside, of course, being that when you're dealing with a map of that size, you are going to be dealing with... I mean, okay, I should say... I mean, there's been cheese already. There's been... Or at least things that look like cheese. I guess attempted cheese, almost. There's not a whole lot I could really say to work with here. I mean... These are matches that have been played along the best-of-1 format. Although at this point, depending on who wins, it's actually going to be really wonky. There will be a tiebreaker match after this, most likely. I mean, unless... If Anarchid and Hokomoko win, then there won't be. Like, Anarchid and Hokomoko winning, they solidly win. 3-0, they've beaten everybody. If Anarchid and Hokomoko lose, and 400... If Anarchid and Hokomoko lose, then they're going to be fighting either Black Touchy and Sigero or 400 and cortezthekiller, whichever win in their round. Because it's going to be 2-1 both ways. Although, I mean... Yeah, they're probably going to do that. It probably will be an actual tiebreaker match, not just using the tiebreaker score stuff. So yeah, this is going to be pretty much for all the marbles if Anarchid and Hokomoko win. Google Frog and Orphelius, at this point, all they can really do is put Anarchid and Hokomoko in a situation where they might not get the top spot. Which kind of sucks when you think about it. I kind of wish I hadn't thought about it. Wow, that's anti-hype. Anyway. We have just to wait for them to get ready. It looks like we're just waiting on Orpheus to get ready. Or to actually get in here. Where is Orpheus? We might not be on Tartarus from the looks of it. It looks like Tartarus actually has some issues with start boxes. So we're waiting on that. Minor technical difficulties. It's not a big deal. Anyway, Tartarus, like I said, bit of a smaller map, but... Okay, Swordtail mentioning... Okay, apparently this Swiss round is basically just being used for seeding a later elimination bracket that we're still going to be doing. So, stay tuned after this, because it's not just going to be Swiss. Or, I guess in this case, effectively round robin. It's going to be a Swiss seeded bracket. Which works too. Alright, so we are not going to be playing on Tartarus for now. It looks like we're going to be playing on Baron instead. Possibly. Anyway, so yes, this is going to be... This is a bit of a surprise, but I guess it makes sense. So we are moving on to Baron instead. That is the map of choice, because that's the map that'll actually work. Oh well. I really like the new start box system, but now from time to time things blow up. So when that happens, you gotta deal with it. And apparently that's what happened. So this is going to be very soon now, if Orpheus would just join up. This is rather annoying. Why is Orpheus not joining up? We're waiting for Orpheus right now. That is the main thing. I think Orpheus is double-checking something. I see they're inside of their own game. Not sure what they're trying to do. Or what they're waiting for. I'm kind of curious what's going on there, because I noticed they lost both matches, and Google Frog and Orpheus, they were my favorites to win. Just to take the whole thing. And now it's completely different. And now they're currently in the bottom spot. Like, the only chance they have... Actually, they're pretty much stuck in the bottom spot, come to think of it. I mean, basically what'll happen, we'll go to the elimination round, and they are going to be fighting against... Like, basically all they're doing right now is setting up the seeding to figure out between Anarchid, Hokomoko, or 400... Well, between... Which of the three opponents? I should really just Anarchid, Hokomoko, or probably... No, come to think of it. Because the way the tie-breaking would work, you'd have... Because 400 and cortezthekiller lost to Anarchid and Hokomoko. But between Black Judge and Sekiro, I mean, Anarchid and Hokomoko beat both of them, so in terms of tie-breaking, I don't know. Anarchid and Hokomoko would win the tiebreaker, so basically, Google Frog and Orpheus are going to be up against Anarchid and Hokomoko first round of the brackets. And it's going to be single elimination, apparently, not double elimination. So, Google Frog and Orpheus are... I mean, it's going to be essentially what I'd figure be the pre-finals finals, but... Well, regardless. we are moving on to this final match. It looks like Orphelius has joined up. And indeed, we are starting on Baron. Oops. And finally the match is going. So, sorry about the delays, but we have finally got the match up and running. Well, loading at least. Pretty soon it'll be up and running properly.